All right. Hello, and thanks for listening to Guidance in Recovery. I'm Keegan Reed, and every week I speak with guests to honestly explore recovery, sobriety, the struggles that come with it, and find things that help us in our recovery journeys. Today, we're back with Justin Shaw for part three, I believe. And Justin is a former a stand-up comic turned hope dealer, and he's also a philosopher and the author of Sorcery 101: 13 Rungs to a Higher Elevation of Consciousness. Having walked through the fires of severe addiction, PTSD, anxiety, and depression, he's experienced a profound awakening that allowed him to tap directly into source energy. He turned his experiences from pain into a practical, battle tested blueprint for emotional alchemy and spiritual liberation. Today, we're diving straight into his Sorcerer's Creed to strip away the illusions, master your own personal power, and elevate your recovery journey. So, Justin, how are you doing today? And what's a myth that you're looking to bust with your Sorcerer's Creed?
Well, I am doing wonderful, and I love the new intro. It's very fancy. It's very cool too. It's well done.
Thank you.
The myth, I would say, I this is very recovery focused since this is what we're doing here. I would say this kind of one size fits all idea for recovery. I've been to certain rehabs and I've been to plenty. And there's certain places that really just kind of preach this one way, which is kind
Mm-hmm.
of and there's nothing wrong with the AA way. There's some issues I have with some of the kind of dogma, I suppose, of AA, but and that's fine. But I just feel like it's not one size fits all for everybody, and that's what this whole thing is about, which is kind of the perfect segue into this, is because that's why I created this. Is I just, for someone like me who's kind of religiously traumatized, I don't really appreciate the religious overtones of AA anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I created something, and as opposed to a base of foundation of religion, sorcery is based on a foundation of spirituality, and they're very, very different things. The
Mm-hmm.
spirituality unites, religion divides. Religion is taught, whereas spirituality is found. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what this whole thing is about. So it's the perfect kind of segue into this whole thing. It's one size does not fit all when it comes to healing trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. And I'm glad that you're busting that myth because I've kind of experienced the same thing, like just hearing that, like, if you don't do its steps, then you're going to relapse and die and stuff. And it's like, bullshit, whatever. Like, maybe for some people, but that's the thing too, is that everyone has a different flavor of recovery. Everyone's journey looks different. And all we can do is just kind of say, hey, this is our experience, this is what helped. And this is maybe also things that didn't help. So that's kind of where the Sorcerer's Creed came from, right? It's not necessarily the 12 steps, but it's kind of like a breakdown of the book itself in a sense, right?
Yeah, yeah. So there's the 13 rungs to the higher elevation of consciousness. So that's separate than what we're talking about here. So this is
Mm-hmm.
this is the Sorcerer's Creed. So technically, it's something that should be at the ending, but I kind of Tarantino'd it and put it at the very beginning. So it's
Okay.
like something you'd kind of you'd see at the end of a book, but I really like starting. I like being weird and starting with the end at the beginning. So that's what this is. It's just kind of this kind of creed that I figured out, that came to me, that really sums up what sorcery is all about. And there's, of course,
Mm-hmm.
there's 13 of them. I keep that the same, but they don't necessarily line up with the rungs themselves, but
Uh-huh.
it's all mashed in together. It's like if you vibe with the creed, you'll vibe with the rungs. It's all together.
Okay, cool. And real quick, I think we touched on this before, but why don't you tell people why you chose the number 13? Because in AA, there's the 13th step, and that's the bad step. You don't go doing the 13th step. But a lot of people look at 13 as an unlucky number, when in reality, it's quite the opposite, right?
Yeah, that's another myth. Let's bust that one too. That 13 is unlucky. Wherever this came from, I've kind of done a little research, and it's kind of a Christian background of, it's that Judas was the 13th disciple, and he was Jesus. So it all just is a bunch of like superstitious bullshit,
Hoopla.
basically. Yeah, it's just, but what it really is, I mean, the number 13 is a very divine number.
Hmm.
In tarot, it means death, rebirth, and transformation, and that
Uh-huh.
is what sorcery is. all about. Death to, death to the old self, rebirth and transformation.
Hmm.
And so it is actually considered a very lucky number, divine feminine, and it's very, very lucky. It's been this whole thing of passed down, and it's just not true. So that's the first. So right immediately, I want people to start questioning beliefs with that number. Like, so
Uh-huh.
it helps people to, and that's what really helped me kind of awaken to this whole thing, was starting with these false beliefs, that, questioning beliefs that may not be true. And so immediately I want people to start thinking about, what may not be true that you're holding on to, because our beliefs lead us to our lives, and they're like the paths that lead
Yeah.
us. So it's extremely important, to know what they are, and understand how important and big of a role our beliefs play in our life. It's everything. It's everything.
Yeah. Yeah, beliefs are a huge deal of everything, like you said, because it shapes our perception, it shapes our experiences, shape our beliefs, and I think that that's kind of one of the hard things, right? Is that a lot of us may experience something that causes this bad belief, and we carry that belief with us, and it may be a false belief this whole time, like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and if I sit there and I look at the world through that lens, then everything's kind of shitty, but whenever I can change and challenge that belief, that's whenever everything starts to shift in that weird in between spaces where recovery kind of happens, I think.
Yeah, it's, and a great example in perception. What you're talking about is if you remember back in the day when we had to have keys to get in our cars, and you could lock keys in cars. Like, you can't
Yeah.
really hardly do that anymore. But let's say, back in the day, you got carjacked, and so this
Hmm.
whole big traumatic thing happens. So, and all of a sudden, maybe you're leaving the grocery store and you see someone, fumbling with their car, or trying, doing the whole coat hanger thing that they used to do back in the day, like,
Uh-huh.
and trying to fumbling and getting in this car. Your perception from that trauma is automatically going to say that guy's stealing that car, without, really doing any research or anything. And
Hmm.
well, maybe this is just someone who just locked their keys in the car and he's just trying to get in there. So our
Uh-huh.
perception and what happens to us immediately will judge what's going on in the current situation. So it's important to
Mm.
be conscious of everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I do remember that because I've locked my keys in old cars many a times and had
Me
to
too.
jimmy my way in there different ways, and I'm sure I got looks
Mhm.
all over, like just like what is that guy doing? Like, but no one ever came up and asked because they were like, oh, he must have lost his keys in his car. But yeah, nowadays people are probably going to be like, oh, he's trying to steal that car, ain't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's that kind of assumption that's just, and it's based on something that happened to you in the past. And so
Hmm.
and that's just one example. There's lots of examples, but that's just one that kind of popped in my head. It's just like, that's your perception, is like what's going on may not actually be what's going on.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, with the world, it seems like everything's just moving at such a different pace than it used to, that if you're not on top of everything, you're behind all of a sudden. And I feel like your Sorcerer's Creed is kind of a call to almost slow down a little bit too, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's having people, I believe, most human suffering is caused by a lack of awareness, and
Hmm.
this is how to get people to start questioning things, questioning thoughts and feelings, and, before they become actions. That's actually one of the creed that we'll get to. But, just kind of questioning things, and awakening. So this is a good book for, there's awakening and there's ascension. Well, ascension is
Hmm.
up to you, but this book will help people kind of awaken, and then the ascension process is, where do you take that? But
Yeah.
this is important because it, wakes people, it gets people conscious, it gets people in touch with that higher self, your player character in the simulation, the one who's playing the joystick, right? So
Uh-huh.
that's what this is all about. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So do we want to read the whole creed and then kind of break it down one by one, or do we just want to read one at a time?
Well, let's just do one at a time, break it
Okay.
down like that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is straight from his book, Sorcerer 101, 13 Rungs to a Higher Elevation of Consciousness by Justin Shaw. So number one, I understand my focus is the energetic cord that connects and charges me. Every day I have the choice to plug into the illusion or plug into the source. So how did that one come about?
Yeah, I mean, that's your focus, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
everything that's going on. So where is your focus at times? And I had to set alarms every hour when I was first recovering from a lot of things, because my focus would start going on other things that really don't matter and all that stuff. And so I, like a kind of alarm would be like, all right, where's your, you know, what is your relationship with the present moment?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question I'm constantly, when I get off kilter. And now I've trained my brain to where it's like, where does you're getting out of the present moment. And so,
Uh-huh.
that's you're plugged into, the source, which is that source energy, that which is, take yourself off airplane mode. That's what this book is all about. Like,
Uh-huh.
get off airplane mode. Um, and so when you're plugged into the source, you are plugged into the energy that created us all. We're all going to, we all came from. It's just that it's the ocean. We're all kind of glasses of water living our lives. And then at the very end, we just get poured back into the ocean. It's no big deal. Like, it's really, death is really not a big deal. It's actually
Uh-huh.
kind of the beginning. And so it's really about that. And I call it the illusion, because that's what it is. I believe we are in a multiverse, and there
Mm-hmm.
are every possible thing that could happen has happened and is happening and has already happened. And it doesn't make any sense, but it is the Schrodinger's cat, right? The
Mm-hmm.
it's not entanglement,
Quantum
superposition.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, superposition. So it's that idea. So, according to Schrodinger, the cat in the box with the little piece of poison, or the little glass of poison, is the cat dead or alive?
Mm-hmm.
Most people pick one. Well, he's saying it's neither and both at the same time.
Uh-huh.
It just depends. It nothing comes to fruition until you observe it. It is in a
Mm-hmm.
state of superposition. Uh, the show Dark Matter on Apple is illustrates this perfectly. If you've ever watched Dark Matter,
Hmm.
like, go watch Dark Matter if you're interested in superposition, because it explains it perfectly.
Okay.
But our lives, so in that show there was a box where so he was in a box, and he'd create, the feeling, and then the world would appear. You have to watch this; it's incredible. And so the world would appear based on how he's feeling.
Uh-huh.
Well, we don't have to be in boxes; it's happening as we're doing it. So that's kind of the
Okay.
idea of the illusion. So what what state we're in is pulling in what we want, because it's superposition. So the energy we're carrying is going to not only pull in the things that we want. If our energy is bad, we're asking for bad things. If our energy is good, and the mind heart coherence, if we're in
Mm-hmm.
that state, we're in a heart centered state, we're going to pull in things matching that energy, because source energy
Okay.
is going to come down and to a lower vibration, and deal with you. It's going to ask you to come up to its vibration. I mean, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like, if I'm talking to someone, in an angry, I'm not going to go get angry. Like, if you want to talk, let's talk. Let's not yell. So it's that
Yeah.
same idea.
Okay.
So the idea of superposition is just like, we're constantly shifting dimensions every minute, and it's based on our energy. So, like, I've experienced times where, like, I'm on this path, and then maybe my that old PTSD energy wants to creep back in, and all of a sudden, if I hold on to that energy, I can shift it to a dimension where my dreams don't come true, and now my
Mm.
nightmares come true, because there's a dimension where that's happened. So
Uh-huh.
everything is based on our energy, and in
Okay.
that moment, we are going to, if you are connecting to the person you want to be, and you're carrying that energy, you already are that person. So you're going to make decisions that person would make. And so
Mm.
that's how this whole thing works. It's just superposition every second. You can change every second. Every second. That's
Yeah.
how important change is. Like, you can change right now, and change your energy, and change and shift into these different dimensions. So it's that idea, and plug into the source as opposed to the illusion, because the illusion will get you off course. It's going to get you in a dimension that you don't want to be, because you're paying
Uh-huh.
attention to things that aren't actually there. So it's plugging into source energy and letting it lead you to where you want to go.
Okay. That's really cool. And I like that whole aspect of we're constantly changing dimensions and we can change ourselves or change where we're going in a split second of sorts. Because there was
Hmm.
someone that I saw that was saying that their friend asked them, well, you want to be this person, so why not right now? And it's kind of
Hmm.
like, oh, that, yeah, because I mean, that's kind of where that illusion of or that bad belief comes from, like I am this. It's like you don't have to be. I don't have to be that if I don't want to, but there's part of me that fears change, I guess. And so
Mhm.
you're saying that plug into source and it's going to kind of guide you in the way that will help get you there maybe more comfortably.
Well, when you cross the river of change, there's an undercurrent of discomfort. So expect
Ah.
that. That's going to happen because because we will always gravitate towards what's familiar. And
Hmm.
that's the problem with growing up in negative atmospheres is you're going to gravitate, even though you don't want to, you
Yeah.
gravitate towards what's familiar. And the way to stop that is awareness.
Mm.
So it's just being aware in the moment of like, okay, I'm attracted to this person, and now I see, oh yeah, this is like my father who used to abuse me, and like you can kind of wake up and be like, oh, okay, this is not what I want. Whereas
Hmm.
if you're not aware of this of the whole attracting towards you what's familiar, but that's gonna feel weird. Like it feels weird. People don't really understand their suffering until they start to heal, and then it
Yeah.
feels weird. It feels like it's like, oh, is this? I didn't realize I was suffering my entire life. Like that's what happened with me.
Hmm.
And so it's just, yeah, when you cross the river change, there's going to be an undercurrent of discomfort. It's expected, it's going to happen, but it's not bad. That's reacting to things that aren't, it's not bad. It's just going to feel different. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, you're going to start being a different person. That whole idea of, act as if is attached to the,
Hmm.
to the, to the law of attraction. But if you feel as if, there's no acting needed.
Mm.
You just are that person. So so don't act as if, feel as if, and the
Uh-huh.
acting just happens.
Okay. Ooh, I love that. And I think that that's something that a lot of people can take in early recovery too, because it's hard to act different, but we can definitely feel different. But I don't know. Sometimes actions and emotions and feelings and stuff all play on each other in such a weird way that it's like, well, if I do this, then it makes me feel this way. But if I feel this way, then maybe it makes me not do that thing that I don't want to do.
Yep.
Um, so that's kind of what makes me think that leads into the second part of the Sorcerer's Creed. You ready for it?
Yep.
All right. So I will receive my body. My body will be mine for the entire period I'm here. So I will take care of it. What brought that one about?
Well, I mean, that's, kind of a little obvious for me. I mean, if you're not taking care of your body, it is the mind, body, spirit connection.
Hmm.
It is a triangle, and all three are completely intertwined. When you disrespect one, you're disrespecting both. When you're feeding and giving respect to one, you're giving respect to both. So
Hmm.
the whole body thing is extremely important. These are our vehicles, as they've been called. Many times it's what, it's the temple. The body is the
Hmm.
temple of the soul, right? So we have to take care of the temple. I don't, you don't see too many monks with like, that don't make their beds and with crap everywhere. So like they take care of their temples. So it's taking care of the body because it's extremely important, and it if you're not taking care of your body and you're taking care of your mind and soul, things can still happen. I mean, if
Hmm.
especially in today's with all the garbage that's out there, it's going to take away from, if you're in pain or you don't feel well naturally. It's hard to get in touch with your soul when you just feel like crap all the time.
Yeah.
So it is, health is wealth. So, and that
Hmm.
is one of the rungs. That's the fourth one. So it's just, that one I feel is just straight up. It's just, you gotta take care of your body. You gotta do it. You can eat well. Yoga,
Hmm.
exercise. Yoga can be exercise, but I hold them different. And it's just, taking care of these things, and you will feel better, and which will put your mind and your spirit back online and have that trifecta.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean that if you disrespect one, you disrespect the other two. That really makes me think of like in active addiction, it's like I definitely felt disconnected from spirit or disconnected from myself in a lot of different ways because I was trying to run from everything that my body was trying to also let me know, like, hey, we got a problem here, like red alert, like your liver's not doing too good, bud. But
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You can be. Yeah. That's the most noble person in the world. But if you're constantly drinking, like it's going to have a very negative effect. Just
mhm,
take care of your body.
yep. All right. I love that one. And so I guess we can move on to number 3. I pledge to
Yep.
seek out knowledge. I am enrolled in a full-time school called Life. Each day in school, I will take advantage and learn something new. So that makes me think of a saying like, the moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying. Does that sound about right?
That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, it's creating new neurons and pathways, especially for the people in addiction. When you learn things, you're creating new connections in your brain every time you learn something new, every time.
Mm,
And so having the dedication to every day learn something new, and it keeps your brain sharp. If you're constantly learning something new every day, you don't have to worry about things like dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that, because you're keeping your brain going. It is a muscle, and if you don't use it, you lose it. It's absolutely the case. I mean,
uh-huh.
it's what it is. So learning something new every day will keep your mind going and will keep it active, and you won't, end up losing it. So it's
Hmm.
extremely important. I know I'm learning. I'm just going through. Like I took French in high school, right? Like, and
Okay.
it was for the girls, right? So but and which was just as miserable of a failure as as me learning nothing in French. I don't know where the parents were for this decision. Instead of learning Spanish, that's like useful. I live in Arizona, right? No one stepped in. It was just me and my mom, and she didn't have a real active role. She
Uh-huh.
was just kind of there sometimes. But great person, sweet lady, but she just
Hmm.
didn't, step in. So now I'm learning. I'm on that Duolingo app and learning Spanish, and I do it every single day. I dedicate,
Hmm.
15 minutes to half an hour, and that's memorization. It's learning. Of course, I already, learn a lot. I read and I Gaia is like my, it's like Netflix for consciousness. It's
Hmm.
fantastic. So I'm always learning something new. So it's just critical for our existence to keep that going. It's what we're
Yeah.
here to do is learn and love. Like that's why we're here. Learn and love. And so that's what you got to do it. You got to keep yourself sharp.
Uh, okay. I love that. And whenever you say that the school is called life, does that remind you, or did that come from like the school of hard knocks or whatever?
Well, I think this is a training ground.
Okay.
I'm all about simulation theory, and another way to look at this is a school, and we're
Hmm.
learning how we're the focus is spiritual growth, and we're learning how to love better,
Hmm.
because love is the one thing, it transcends space and time. It's the one thing we will leave here and take with us. It's just like
Mm.
in a real flight simulator, like you're learning something to bring into the real world, is that you're learning how to fly a plane so you can fly it in the quote real world.
Uh-huh.
And so it's the same thing here. We're supposed to be getting better at love. So it's a school, it's a training ground, and it's a school. So that's why that where that came from.
Okay. And I guess it's one of those things where uh we don't necessarily get quizzes or pop quizzes, do we?
Well, now there is I mean there can first of all there can be tests, and
Okay.
they come all the time, and we
Uh-huh.
know we know where they are, especially for people in addiction. You're going to get
Mhm.
tested all the time, and even if you fail the test, it's not a big, you can have you'll get other chances. But I
Mhm.
believe, at the end of life, this I think just like you would do in a flight simulator, there is a rundown. You get a review of how you did. So, and there's people that didn't do so well. And so I believe you're going to feel everything that you made other people feel, because no one's going to remember
Ooh.
what you said or what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the critical part. So when we get, and that's the whole idea of heaven and hell. I think that's where that came from. There is no
Mhm.
hell, but Hitler's rundown is not going to be so fun, because he's going to have to go through the feelings of 6 million people and what he did to them. So that
Mhm.
that is pretty hellish experience. It's not, no one gets away with anything, but
Yeah.
there is, I believe that is the rundown, because just like in a flight simulator, they're gonna sit, like he crashes the plane. It's like, okay, what'd you learn? What'd you do
Yeah.
wrong? What do you want to do again? Okay, go
Uh-huh.
back in. And
Yeah.
so, like it's that whole idea. So yeah, there is a review, I believe, and there are tests here. Yeah, so it's a school, man.
Yeah, I love that aspect of people aren't going to necessarily remember what you say or what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel, because that's how my brain and body work. Like sometimes I don't remember what was said in the moment way back when, but I remember the feeling damn well. And that's the part
Hmm.
that's like, oh, that's where some of that trauma lies. Like maybe I'll remember a little bit of that specific moment because of that feeling, but that's where a lot of stuff just kind of sprouts and then just gets all nasty. But it's my
Hmm.
job to go back and kind of resolve it. So,
Yep, exactly. Yep, feeling. Yep, that's the key. We're gonna feel everything, and that's the whole idea. That's why I try to make everyone feel good.
yeah.
So it's yeah, yeah.
Well, I think you do an awesome job at it.
pass
And yeah,
pass the love on. Get better. That's what we're here.
yeah, I love that. All right, so let's see. Number 4, I believe. I understand there are no failures, just lessons. Growth is a process of experimentation. The failed experiments are as much as part of the process as the experiment that ultimately works. You care to break that one down real quick?
Yeah, so it's important to know that, yeah, don't see it as failures. It's just the lesson.
Uh huh.
So, a lot of people don't know this, but the Model T, which was the first car, right? Henry
Mm
Ford was the first car. Well, he started with Model A. And all got all the way down the line. So what is that, like 20 something? Like, so,
hmm. Mm hmm.
uh, you know, that's a lot of failures. But
Mm
he
hmm.
didn't see it that way. He was like, nope, that one didn't work. We're going at it again, and we're going
Uh
at it
huh.
again, and we're going at it again, and we're going at it again. And so it's just there. There are no failures. They're just lessons, and it's how to tweak things and make things different. So if you have a perspective on a failure, and you have the right perspective, which the next one, read the next one, because that it kind of rolls right into the next one.
All right. So next one, number 5. I understand that lesson learning never ends. A lesson will be presented to me in various forms and will be repeated until I have learned it. I know the key to my success will be to go from lesson to lesson without losing my enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
okay.
yeah, it rolls right into the next one. It's the first one's to have the right perspective on the failure, and the
Mm-hmm.
next one is to understand that these are going to happen, and they're going to happen continuously until you learn from them. So that's the
Okay.
whole idea of the test is like, if you fail that test, it's the same thing. It's going to come right back at you, and you can pass or fail, and it'll keep coming until you pass. So
Yeah.
there'll be plenty of opportunities to pass your test. That's all I'm saying. Is like
Yeah.
there'll be plenty of opportunities, and having that kind of, if you go from lesson to lesson without losing your enthusiasm, you will succeed. You will 100% succeed if you see them as lessons and you continue to go from lesson to lesson, and you never lose your enthusiasm. You will absolutely succeed.
Mm.
It took Henry Ford 20, and he never lost his enthusiasm. Like, nope, this is going to work. Nope, this is going to work. I mean, how many times, like, and he never gave up, and we
Yeah.
have the car because of him. So it's it's that whole concept of, you can't just continue to have that enthusiasm that something is going to work out at some point. And I love saying this because it's on me. Like, I remind myself of this. It's like, I just need to go from one thing to another, and just keep hope. So if you have hope attached to the overall goal, and
Mm-hmm.
you have that energy, that's the energy attached to that hope. But you can't expect anything to happen your way. So there's been
Mm.
plenty of things had I had this idea of expectation. You can't be disappointed if you have no expectations.
Yeah.
So you have to have hope over expectations. If you expect something to go a certain way, it's like, okay, this is it. This is what's, and then it doesn't. Now you're disappointed. Now you could lose your hope, and everything could fall apart.
Yeah.
So that is the enthusiasm. It's keeping that hope alive, keeping attached to the overall. If you stay anchored to hope, you can't get lost in the sea of disappointment, right? Like, so,
Uh,
because you're anchored to hope. So it's, having that vision and having it without expectations. Release expectations. It could, yeah, again, Henry Ford, you could expect, okay, this one's going to work. It didn't. Okay, if he really expected one to truly work and he lost his, you're going to lose your motivation. You gotta have, it's discipline over motivation, because you can lose motivation. If you have discipline and you have hope attached, you're going to succeed. It's going
mm.
to happen. It's just a matter of time. You just can't expect any one thing to work out.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. And I've kind of learned in my own journey so far is that whenever I have expectations, I end up stubbing my own toe. And if I get mad at other people or other situations because I stubbed my own toe, then again, it's on me. And that's where a lot of resentments come from, is the failed expectations. And
Yep.
so trying to not have them it sounds weird because it's like, how do you go through life without expectations? But I guess you just answered it. It's hope. It's like hope that the right thing happens. But I mean, who's to say what is the right thing too? You know,
Yeah.
because things are different, but based on perspectives. So,
Yep. Yep.
uh,
Yep. Absolutely.
and I was trying to think of something else that popped in my mind, but I think that that is going to be covered a little bit later. So let's see, we're on number 6. So let's see here. Number 6, I understand that my reality happens through me. There we go. Not to me. Therefore, I will remain vigilant in how I am viewing myself and the world around me. So whenever you say it's happening through you, not to you, is that kind of like the saying quit taking it personally?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's the same. You know, it's just like yeah, I mean, it's just like the you know the car
Mhm.
thing. It's that it's that you're perceiving what you're perceiving, and that has to do with your beliefs.
Mhm.
So the world is happening through us and not to us, and that also comes to where that kind of or the superposition kind of it's happening through you based on the energy you're keeping,
Mhm.
and everything is happening. Two things are happening.
Okay.
So one, you're when you have the correct energy and you've had this kind of mind heart coherence, and you're able to keep that going on a consistent basis, which again I advise people to settle if you're struggling with this, if you're really into it, like set an alarm every hour and ask yourself, what is my relationship to the present moment, and bring
Mhm.
yourself in heart centered. And that's training your mind. You have to
Mhm.
train your mind to do this, and then you don't need the alarms. Then it's just
Yeah.
happening. Like now for me, it just happens naturally. It's the most amazing thing. I've rewired my mind, and it's through hard work. Like it doesn't happen easy. And so that whole idea, it's happening through us, is
Uh-huh.
like you're one thing is happening. So you're, first of all, like I said, you're creating, it's the feel as if, so you're acting like a different person. You're feeling as if, which is making you act like the person you want to be, because you're already feeling like that person. You don't have to remind yourself to act that way, because you feel like it, and you just acting comes natural. So that's one thing that
Mhm.
happens. Two, when you have the constant mind heart coherence, for that hope and that vision that you are desiring. And you need to have hope and vision. If you don't have any hope and vision, you are left to the randomness of the simulation. I can't promise what anything is going to happen, because mostly what happens is what's coming out of your subconscious. So you're either
Mhm.
consciously creating your life, or you're unconsciously creating your life.
Mhm.
Consciously create your life and tell it where to go. And so what's happening is, you've created this beacon to the universe, right? So beacon, if you're you're going down in a ship, out sea, maybe your day's out, and you've hit a rock and you're going down. Well, they all come with this beacon that sends
Mhm.
a rescue signal out to the Coast Guard. And so as long as that beacon is going, the Coast Guard will find you. But there's
Mhm.
no guaranteed time. It's not, and
Yeah.
it's certainly not going to happen right away.
No.
And so you keep your beacon going, because if let's say that beacon dies, let's say the beacon's going off, the Coast Guard gets a signal, the Coast Guard's on the way, he's halfway there, the beacon goes off.
Mhm.
He's not going to find you.
Yeah.
It's a huge ocean. He's not going to find you.
Uh-huh.
So you have to. That's the beacon. That your beacon is the mind heart coherence and the hope and the vision. So you keep that beacon going, and you just keep it going. Because I thought I've been interested in kind of the whole the manifestation law of attraction when The
Mhm.
Secret came out, and I read that
Yeah.
and I vibed with it, and but I lost my beacon because I was too screwed up
Mhm.
on drugs anyways. But but I the things you keep in front of you, and you keep that hope alive. And
Mhm.
so there's things you can do to there's the mind coherence, which keeps things, but then there's there's something to the vision boards, and keeping something that you see all the time, because what is in front of you is what you're moving towards.
Mm.
So if you keep that kind of going, and that'll remind you to stay focused and keep the beacon going. And there's another great manifestation tool that I'm using currently, that is the 369. It came from Nikola Tesla. That is one of the keys for manifestation. So it's three. You come up with a phrase that you want, and
Okay.
you write it 3 times in the morning, and then 3 times in the afternoon, or 6 times in the afternoon, and then
Uh-huh.
9 times at night. 3, 6, 9. This
Huh.
is supposed to be another manifest. This came from Tesla. He kind of knows what
Mm-hmm.
he's talking about, I think. So it's that that's another kind of key thing to keep the beacon going. You're constantly okay. You're constantly focused on this vision and this goal, and so it's like for me, I'm putting. I'm well off. I'm well known, and I'm helping millions. And I write that
Mm.
over and over and over and over again. And I use you have to use a present term, not I will be, because
Uh.
that's creating separation. The key is
Mm-hmm.
present term. So I say I
Okay.
am, not I will be,
Uh-huh.
because I am, even though that's not necessarily true in this moment in time, right? But I
Uh-huh.
am, and that's what pulls it in because it's like, okay, you are that.
Huh.
So, and it takes as long as it's going to take. I don't know how long it's going to take. I've only been at this for like a year, but
Uh-huh.
eventually, if I keep this up, it will happen. I am absolutely confident it will happen. So it's just, but I can't lose my beacon because otherwise, they're not. It's not going to find me. So that's it's
Mm.
key. So that's what that whole thing through us, not to us, is all about.
Okay. Yeah, I love that beacon aspect kind of thinking because it is very true in my experience that if I don't like relight the flame or keep the flame alive, then it's kind of like, well, now I have to start all over, and starting over is harder than keeping that momentum going. Kind of like what you were saying with that discipline versus motivation. Just it's easier to go with something that's already in the motion. And I think that, you know, uh, stuff happening through me is also a good way to kind of integrate all those bad experiences that I may have happened because, or may have experienced because it says that it's just something to teach me a lesson. And I can use that lesson to help other people or help myself through other situations that are similar to that in the future. And it's just how am I going to accept it? Because I can fight it, but I can't change the past, but I can change how I feel about it in the present, you know?
And
So,
use it because
mm-hmm.
I look at my past with such love because I have it's created such empathy for people in similar situations. There's sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is just listening to someone's pain. Anyone can do
Mm-hmm.
that, but I can empathize. Like I've been through
Yeah.
a lot, so like
Mm-hmm.
I can feel the pain with them and be okay with it because I'm comfortable in my own pain. You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
talk to anyone who's like, and the key is like you always want to talk your emotions out and stuff, but you got to be talking to someone who's got empathy because if you talk to the wrong person, it's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
You're going to go backwards. Like talking,
Uh-huh.
it's not just talking to someone. It is talking
Mm-hmm.
to someone who can empathize with you, and that is the release, and that's what we need. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's empathy over sympathy for sure.
Okay.
But
I
our past create that empathy. That's the whole point I was trying to. It's like I
yeah.
have because of my past, I have that empathy, and I'm very
Mm-hmm.
grateful for my past now. It
Okay.
wasn't when I was in it, but
Yeah. Real quick on that note, would you say that relating is the same to empathy, or is empathy like a little bit deeper than just saying I've been there?
it's deeper because like just saying it, it's empathy is actually feeling their pain with them, which a lot of people are not willing to do. So finding those people is difficult.
Yeah.
But empathy is actually, yeah, relating is like I've been through something similar. I kind of know what you're talking about. Whereas empathy is like I know exactly what you're feeling. I'm feeling it right now,
Yeah.
and I am sorry. And here's what I did, and like or if you're just there to just absorb and talk, I was with people that is this a situation where you'd like some advice or do you just need to vent? That's
Mm-hmm.
important too. So having these people to talk to and knowing that it's going to be the right person to talk to and that
Mm-hmm.
empathy and it's just really crucial because I've talked to people that just don't the whole sympathy thing and it's just like yeah I'm sorry man it's
Mm.
like
Yeah.
I
Eh.
wish I just didn't say anything at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
so. Yeah, finding those people, and they're tough, but they're out there. They're out there.
Yeah. Yep. And also just want to highlight what you said about asking if someone wants advice, because I heard not too long ago saying that unsolicited advice is a consent violation. And I was like, ooh, I know I'm guilty of that in the past. Like, oh, I know how to help. And it's like, no,
We
they
want to
didn't
fix.
want help. They just
Yeah,
wanted
we
to
want to
be
fix. It's just
heard.
a natural, especially with guys. Like it's just a natural thing, especially with like in relationships with guys. And I made
Mm-hmm.
that mistake all the time, like because I was not conscious of everything. So I owe
Mm-hmm.
anyone with anyone. Like I have, spiritual Sherpa. It's kind of a side business I do where it's just, and yeah, so is this just a situation where you just need to get stuff out, or are you open to, and it's just up to them. Like sometimes it's just,
Yeah.
you know what, I just need a vent. Okay, go for it, do it, let's
Yeah.
go. And other times it's like, no, I'm open to advice, and like, or just
Hmm.
let me get this out and then let's talk. So
Hmm.
people will tell you, so, and that way no one gets frustrated.
Yeah.
So like if you go into conversations and you're ready to like be empathetic, just like say what would you like from me here, because I'll
Uh-huh.
feel your pain and I'll be with you and I will be present. I will be actively listening is actually listening instead of just thinking about what you're going to say. So
Yeah.
it's important to find active listeners out there, and yeah,
Hmm.
that's really key to talking things out.
Yeah. That is for sure. And on that note, and can they find your services at your same website where they can find the book?
Email me is the best way
Okay.
to do it now. But my email website, yeah, is on the website. But it's, yeah, email is just the sorcerer13 at Gmail, SOUCERER one
Okay.
three at Gmail, and I can set stuff up there. And it's still, yeah, it's I have several clients. It's a lot of fun, and it's like it's one of those things like find your flow, find what you love, and helping people just really, it just
Yeah.
really warms my heart and keeps me. And it's iron sharpens iron. It's
Hmm.
that old Bible phrase. It's like no one person is really helping the other more. It's like
Mm-mm.
it's that whole thing. It's just like one ironing rod sharpening the other, and it's the same thing. So it may seem like
Hmm.
maybe one person, maybe I have a better, but no, they're helping me just as much. So it's, yeah, I love
Hmm.
doing that. Spiritual Sherpa. Everyone needs a Sherpa. Like it's when you're stuck and you just Sherpa's not going to carry you up to the top of Everest,
Hmm.
but it's really, no one, I'm not going to go to Everest without a Sherpa. I'm going to definitely, I need someone I'm not going to go at all because that's crazy. But if I
Uh-huh.
did, you need a Sherpa to guide you the way, but they're not going to carry you. It's your
Yep.
journey. It's just, there's
Hmm.
just a nice little guide to get you up there. So it's spiritual
Yeah.
Sherpa.
Okay. And they can find you at awakenthesorcerer.com, correct?
Yep. Yep. And that's the website, Awaken the Sorcerer. Yep. There it is.
Awesome.
Boom. It's fancy.
Sweet. And I mean, it's just, oh man, a Sherpa, yeah, because we have to help guide each other. We can't do the experience for them. And there was that saying that I heard in my recovery and my rehab was that we can't steal someone else's experience by trying to tell them like we can give them advice, but if we try to enable them or guide them a certain way, then they're not going to learn the lessons that they actually need to learn to get where they need to go. And I found that was kind of hard too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah, no, and yeah, and I do offer the free. The first one's always, the consultation's like half an hour free, just to see
huh,
if you like it. So
yeah,
that's always out there, and I have no problem giving my time away for free because it's fun. So, yeah, first session, 30 minutes, always free. So there's no
awesome.
downside to it.
Sweet. Well, thank you for laying that out there for everyone.
Well,
And let's see. So we're on number 7, correct?
yes,
Um, all
ish.
right. I am aware that there is no better than here. When my there has become a here, I will simply obtain another there. Kind of a tongue twister right there.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, yeah, I like the confusing things now. But that's it, again, it's important to have that vision, and that that there needs to be guidance. The universe is indifferent,
Mm.
completely indifferent, just like AI. AI is completely indifferent. It's
Uh-huh.
how you use it, and how
Mm-hmm.
you're going to use it, and that's going to determine the where it's going to go. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to keep some kind of vision ahead. Otherwise, again, like I said before, it's you're there consciously creating your life, or you're subconsciously creating your life.
Mm.
So you have to have goals and visions, and that's what I talked about earlier, just staying attached to that goal and attached to that vision. And 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 then after a while, you pull it in, and a lot of hard work, and a lot of keeping your beacon going, and then all of a sudden you get it.
Yeah.
Now what? Well,
Yeah.
now
Ooh.
you got to create another thing. And and that's key too, because a lot of people who get their dreams, they fall apart. You see
Mm.
this a lot in, and that's why it's so critical. It's like once you get once you get, here is not better than there. It's all the same thing. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all one energetic happening here and now. Past, present, and future. It's all connected. We're just on a different channel, so the channels can't interact with each other, and so
Uh-huh.
it's this. So we're all in one big cable box, this universal cable box, and we're just on different channels. So everything's happening right here and right now. It's just
Mm-hmm.
interact. You just can't necessarily. Sometimes cool things happen. That's the paranormal aspect, and the
Uh-huh.
like when I used to cross over from Arizona to California, and the radio stations would kind of fade in and out, and that's when paranormal
Oh.
stuff happens. It's like kind of that fading and that in and out of like the tuning in, and it's kind of scratchy, and then
Mm-hmm.
and so cool stuff does happen. But what was the one we were talking? Oh, yeah, they're in here. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
so it's important to then people fall apart when they get everything they've ever wanted, and you see it happen with celebrities a lot, and it's just like, wow, what happened? They you know their there became a here, and they didn't set another there. It just was
Mm.
like, well, I did it. Shit. Now I don't. Now what?
Uh-huh.
So that it's important. We're
Mm.
gonna get our theirs, but it's not better
Uh-huh.
than here. And once you get there, it's you need to set another there. So
Mm.
it's that idea of just, and that's what winners do, and that's just keep going and
Mm-hmm.
continue to stay attached and keep going, keep setting new
Yeah.
goals.
Okay.
Yeah, extremely important.
Yeah, that honestly reminds me of that real life scenario where like someone that has been working their whole life or whatever, they retire and next thing you know, they start going downhill or they die because
Mhm.
they stopped moving, they stopped having a purpose of sorts, and it's just like they wither
That's a
away
great
really
example.
quick. Yeah.
That's a great example. That really, and you see that a lot, and they just start to fade away, and they've
Mm-hmm.
lost their purpose. They've lost their, well, because they're, now it's like because they've lost a vision and a goal. And if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have a vision and goal constantly, then things are, yeah, retirement is a big deal for a lot of people. So it's no longer working. We'll find something else.
Yeah.
Volunteer. I don't know. Just it's up to you. It's your journey. It's your simulation. It's your it's your show. So it's you have to find what's going to work for you. But it's critical to stay attached to something because we've seen this a lot. And especially with retirees, you see it a lot. They just lose their ambition, and
Mm-hmm.
ambition is key.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. Ambition is key. And I think it takes a lot of ambition to even get into recovery in the first place. Even if you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, there's an ambition
For
there.
sure. For sure. Yep.
All right. Let's see. Let's move on to number 8. All right. So I will honor the golden rule and love others how I wish to be loved. I feel like that one's pretty straightforward, right?
That one's extremely straightforward. Yeah, and I mean, we have all this the these the commandments and laws, and don't do this and don't do that. Well, there's just one law, and it's
Mm-hmm.
the golden law. It's the golden rule. It's just treat others how you want to be treated, love others how you want to be loved, and that's all you need. You don't have to worry about anything, any of the anything happening if you're just following that one rule. And
Mm-hmm.
it is the golden rule, and it's self-explanatory. It's just
Mm-hmm.
just love others like you want to be loved, and amazing things will happen because they are you.
Yeah.
They're you from another perspective. So
Mm-hmm.
we're all the same thing. It's just we're just having different experiences. We're all this one source energy, and I don't believe there's any separation between God and humans, like in the religion.
Mm-hmm.
That we are that we're fractal pieces of
Mm-hmm.
the creator, of the holographic universe. I've heard that term, but if you think about it, it's just you cannot cut down a hologram. You can't cut a hologram in half or a little piece. You have to reduce the size of the hologram.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. It's those holograms, like they used to have like Tupac up there, and it's a hologram of Tupac or hologram of Michael Jackson, and like you can't cut those in half.
Uh-uh.
You can reduce the size of it, but you cannot cut a hologram in half, or cut off the foot and just have a foot. You have to reduce it in size, and that's what's happened here. We're that creator. We've just been reduced in size. So we all have
Mm-hmm.
that God within us. So treat others that way, and
Mm-hmm.
get curious, and try to understand what's going on inside them if they're being jerky or whatever. And that's love. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, wow. And I feel that now when I get treated certain ways. It's just that's to not react to them. To the shadow wants to react. The
Mm-hmm.
sorcerer will respond. And
Mm.
so it's a big difference between the two. I love saying I'm a little bit Deepak and a little bit Tupac because that really
Uh-huh.
sums me up. I have a little bit of jerk in me too,
Uh-huh.
and it used to be all of me. The shadow used to be running my life,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's it's that kind of idea. That's like, okay, this person is not conscious, and we've got it's the the simulation thing again. It's we've got NPCs, and I've made up this kind of new pattern of RPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you have the NPC, which is the non-player character. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad video games are so big. Everyone gets that. It's the term. So you have these
Uh-huh.
background characters, right? So and then it might be the person, the teller, the bank teller. They're all part of the same. They all are. They're just not conscious or aware of themselves yet. Anyone can wake up at any time, but a lot of people are just not there. I'd say 80% of society is not there,
Mm-hmm.
and so you run into NPCs, and they're just there to kind of, they're just there to be there. It could be the person you walk by with their face in the phone and they're just completely unconscious and going, so we have NPCs that are background characters, and then we have RPCs. These are role playing characters. These
Mm-hmm.
are characters that are also not conscious. So they're NPCs, but they're playing a huge role in your life, like
Mm.
progressing your story. My
Okay.
mother was an
Uh-huh.
RPC. She was a completely unconscious human being. She was so absorbed in her own pain that
Mm.
she depression is anger turned inward. So she was not an angry person. Thank God I didn't go through abuse or anything like that. But she did not understand the concept of love at all. She
Mm.
did love me, but she didn't understand how to express it in any sort of healthy way. So I didn't hear the term growing up. And when I got older, I couldn't say it. It wasn't something I could say because I never
Uh-huh.
heard it. And she wasn't big on hugging, and it was just her and I. So it was a really isolating, weird atmosphere. But she played a huge role in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
they're here to progress your story. So if you understand, if you run into an RPC or an NPC that turns into an RPC, maybe you get into an argument with one, and if you're aware that this is an RPC that's now become a role-playing character in your life that's here to
Mm-hmm.
progress your story, you can react to it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of seeing it that way and treating others because they're all you, just
Yeah.
coming from a different. So just treat you how you want to be treated. That's
Yeah.
self-explanatory.
All right. I love that. I got to ask though, have you heard of the silver rule? That's kind of a tongue
Tell me.
twister.
No, no.
So it's right alongside, it's kind of parallel to the golden rule, but instead of do unto others what you would have done unto yourself, it's don't do unto others what you wouldn't do to yourself or want done to yourself.
Yeah,
So,
I've never heard of that before, but yeah, that's
mhm,
absolutely golden and silver rule.
yeah.
Yep, I completely agree.
And I love that vision of like the RPC characters coming in because I know that ever since getting into recovery, I look at some people that quote unquote trigger me a little bit different because it gives me that opportunity to learn something else and try to respond differently instead of reacting. And it's like I can sit there and say, thanks for being part of my recovery. And they're going to be like, sure thing. And I'm like, yeah, thanks.
They're there to progress your story, just like in a
Uh-huh.
video game. And I love the movie Free Guy. Like it's perfect. The sunglass characters in that movie, they're the player characters. They're attached to the person on the other side. And I love,
Mhm.
movies like the Neverending Story. You are both Bastion and Atreyu. You're
Mhm.
both. Bastion is that higher self that's connected to Atreyu that's guiding him through his journey.
Mhm.
And so you're Atreyu and Bastion. Bastion is that other get in touch with your Bastion because you're Atreyu. So there's so many things out there that I really think that the secrets of the universe are hidden in the nooks and crannies of pop culture. And it's so fun to discover them every once in a while.
Mhm.
But that yeah, it's fun to think you're in a video game. It's not especially the kind of simulation. It's not the Matrix. We're not it might make a lot of sense that we're all being held captive by AI right now, and it's not that. I can tell you I've experienced the other side, and it's just absolutely beautiful.
Uh-huh.
So you don't have to. It's not aliens. They're not controlling us, and it's not a simulation just to see what happens. It's your simulation. It's
Mhm.
yours. You're in complete control of it at all times. But it's just so fun to think that, okay, this is my video game. I'm in control. Let's
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
like there's nothing damaging in that at all. It's a lot of fun. So start seeing people in the video game, and there are NPCs and RPCs, and so an NPC could easily jump in and be an RPC, but just be
Uh-huh.
aware, treat people that way. It's like, okay, this is me.
Yeah.
Just let's treat them that way.
Awesome. I love that kind of reminder. And let's see, real quick, we're on number 9, but we got what? 4 more left. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So do we want to call it here for now and wrap up the next ones in the next episode?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, and yeah, if we
Okay.
have extra time, we can dip into the fourth round. There's not ever going to be like we're not going to have a hard time filling time ever.
Yeah,
I can
no.
promise you that.
Nope. Another conversation with you is just so easy and flowy because that's what it's about, right? Recovery is trying to get others to where we want to all kind of be, and that's in that loving, heal or healing aspect. And we never know who needs to hear what, and so that's why it's great to just have a conversation where we understand each other. We know what's kind of going on. I get to pick your brain because it is just way too cool to hear like what you've gone going up in your video game.
It's it's so much fun. Yeah, it is, and it's you're finding follow your flow. Like I've found my flow. This is where time disappears. It's not real anyways,
Mm-mm.
and we experience it in different ways and perspectives. But like something like this, it's just so it felt like 10 minutes.
It did.
Like and apparently we've been here for an hour. I wouldn't. I don't
uh
know. That's just time loses. So yeah,
uh
find your flow because it's pretty amazing.
yeah, it is pretty amazing. And I mean, it does always suck whenever it's like we have constraints from the outer world or whatever to follow, but I guess that's where for me I've learned that sometimes those boundaries that I learn allow me to actually have more freedom within those same boundaries. And
Mhm.
it's one of those things that I had to learn in recovery because it was like, okay, well, these are the things that I can't do anymore. So what can I do? And that kind of, even though it was quote unquote limiting, it was also very freeing at the same time. It was more liberating than anything. It's like, oh, I just
Focus
don't
on
have to
what you
pick up a
can
drink.
do. Yeah.
Uh huh.
Yeah. And I feel like it's important to, focus on, not to say, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. The mind doesn't really hear don't. If I say don't think of elephants, you're thinking of elephants, aren't you?
Uh
Like
huh.
it's just like so you don't want to focus on what you don't want to do, and I like to say worrying is like praying for what you don't want to happen.
Yeah.
So it's important. Like I don't want to drink today. I don't want to. That's if that works for you, great. But it worked much better for me on what I do want. Let's not think
Mm-hmm.
about that. What do I want? Oh, I want to do. I want this. I want that. And that really lights me up. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's very important to focus on what you do want and not what you don't want.
Awesome. I have to 100% agree right there. And are there any last words that you want to leave the audience with for this afternoon?
I don't know if I said this last time, but like, there's one thing I always like to leave, and I don't remember if I said it last time, but I'll try to remember at least next time is not say this one, but yeah, I like to always say, like live life like it's your, that whole idea of live life like it's your last day,
Mm-hmm.
especially for people in recovery. I think that's so dangerous because like my last day, the shadow will probably take over. I'm not going to do my yoga and meditation.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably end up at a bar. I
Mhm.
might rob a pharmacy, and then I might end up in a hotel room with some hookers shooting meth. I don't know because it's
Uh-huh.
my last day. I don't know. The shadow is taking over. So
Mhm.
I like to say live life like it's your first day because then
Mhm.
there's a curiosity that's kind of going on. It's your first day. You've been zapped into the simulation. It's like Fortnite. You're just there. All
Uh-huh.
of a sudden, boom, you're in this new surrounding, and so
Uh-huh.
now you get to look around. It's like, wow, this is really, really cool. This is
Mhm.
pretty sweet, and you have that curiosity. You're building something towards the future because it's your first day. You're like, okay, let's build something, and you also have that curiosity and have curiosity about people.
Mhm.
Curiosity will help so much. If you have curiosity about the world around you, about other people, that curiosity will lead you amazing places. Curiosity, that bullcrap statement, curiosity killed the cat. Yeah, that was invented
Uh,
by the higher ups that don't want people thinking.
mhm.
Because that is absolutely be curious
Uh-huh.
because. it's you will forget killing and you're going to thrive if you're
Mm,
curious. Curiosity is for thriving cats. So
yep.
it's be curious.
Awesome. I love that. Be curious and live the day like it's your first and not your last. All right, Justin. Thank you again very much for being back on Guidance in Recovery. I'm looking forward to our next conversation because it's going to be even better. And I mean, it's just going to keep getting better because we've got to finish up the Sorcerer's Creed and we've got to go through rungs 4 through 13 now, I believe.
Yeah, 4 through 13.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's plenty to discuss. It'll be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, everyone out there, thank you for listening to Guidance and Recovery, and thank you for listening on WDJY 99.1 FM. And as always, this has been Justin, this has been Keegan, and we'll see y'all in the next time. But don't forget to love yourself. Try to love others if you can, but you got to try to love yourself first. Try to be your favorite version of yourself today. And if you're having a mental health crisis, you can dial 988. Or if you're in the LGBTQ plus community, you can dial the Trevor Project up in Canada. And if you don't feel like calling, you can text 741-741. And until then, we'll see y'all next time. Much love. Shalom.
Oh.